It's almost Christmas, and mixed in with the holiday cheer, it's important to keep track of the dangers, the not so cheery, the breaking news about how bleak the economy is. More specifically, it's important to see how political machinations and egos have harmed the economy. Well, this news about America's biggest toy maker is part of what we need to watch. It is stark, and I think it's an essential alarm. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. Indeed, it's almost Christmas time. Americans often accessorize that celebration of the birth of Christ with childhood memories of family and friends, and surprises, songs, decorations, and even classic Christmas television broadcasts, the latter of which, of course, we have to admit, often had very little to do with Christ, but they still filled the heart with fondness and cheer and song. And one such classic is the 1970 Rankin and Bass stop-motion musical Santa Claus is Coming to Town. That's my Fred Astaire look, which outlines the fantastical origins of Saint Nick in a Germanic area near Somber Town. As Santa skirts the increasingly authoritarian edicts of the king's appointed local governor, the Burgermeister Meisterburger, the Burgermeister goes all out to enforce his classic gray world approach to so-called law and order, dictating no more toys. He even sings a song about that.
It's a difficult responsibility.
And while referencing that delightful production, I know I might inspire fond memories and facilitate a more lighthearted view of this not so lighthearted story. But the news isn't light. In fact, thanks to the Biden economy and the legacy of state and local COVID lockdowns, which Donald Trump's Justice Department ought to have opposed on multiple constitutional grounds, and coming on the heels of decades of inflation and layer upon layer of government regulation over trade, especially in energy, we discovered that America's, and arguably, if one removes Lego from the list, the world's largest toy manufacturer will fall to exactly what the Burgermeister wanted. A fifth of this workforce for this company no longer will be making more toys. Writes Jordan Andrews for State of the Union, quote, Hasbro, one of the world's largest toy makers, is cutting 1,100 jobs, or about 20% of its workforce, due to challenging market conditions, including historic pandemic, so-called driven highs, and continued headwinds. This is Christmas time. This is the biggest toy selling period of the year. In other words, this not only is sad and tragic for the employees, which is the key, it's also very alarming news for others. It's alarming for those concerned about the continued inflationary policies of the fiat money creators at the Federal Reserve. It's alarming for those concerned about the resultant malinvestment of this fake, easy cash. It's alarming for those concerned about the inevitable economic contraction and liquidation, in this case of jobs, that results from this central bank created, central government promoted boom-bust cycle. And in fact, if one were to engage in something that Vice President Kamala Harris seems to love, which is drawing Venn diagrams, all of those circles, those categories of concerned people, well, they almost always overlay one another. Indeed, this news is alarming for anyone with a semblance of an understanding of economics, which means that the folks at the Biden administration, well, of course, they likely won't notice or they won't discuss it publicly. Adds Andrews, quote, CEO Chris Cox cited persistent difficulties and indicated the company will vacate its Providence, Rhode Island headquarters when the lease expires in January 2025. But heck, why not stay? Why not keep pumping out toys during a time that has seen consumer prices skyrocket 17.7% since Joe Biden took office? Why not stay when just a year ago, Hasbro acknowledged that it had to raise prices due to higher transportation costs? Why not keep the corporation spending and investing in resources, including labor resources, when Joe Biden and his money-hungry pals in Congress have drastically increased business taxes? Surely, now that Biden has restored the U.S. corporate tax to its old status as the highest in the developed world, lifting it from Trump's 21% to 28%, well, it would be really a great idea for business people not to cut expenses by cutting jobs and not to consider moving shop to some other nation. And gosh, the folks who work at Hasbro and live in Rhode Island have such an easy time with the state tax collectors. Surely living in one of the most tax-unfriendly states for earnings and property taxes is tons of fun. And everyone enjoys the threats of the tax men, don't we? Andrews notes that Mr. Cox sent a personal message to the employees, and he said in part, quote, "While we have made some important progress across our organization, the headwinds we saw through the first 9 months of the year have continued into holiday and are likely to persist into 2024. I know this news is especially difficult during the holiday season. We value each of our team members. They aren't just employees, they're friends and colleagues. We decided to communicate now so people have time to plan and process the changes. It is sad and alarming, and it's not going to get better. As the Federal Reserve signals looser interest rates, the imaginary value cash that they pump out will simply cause more malinvestment and price increases, even as Biden and his ilk explode the U.S. debt, toss money and weapons around the globe, strangle our energy supplies, funnel money into pork interests, and continue to regulate numerous sectors of the economy into being too expensive to operate in the U.S. Biden might not be singing about no more toys, but his policies are leading to precisely this and to dark times for Hasbro, children, and the parents who pray for the best future for all people at Christmas. Let's hope that, like the fond memories that we might have about Santa Claus is coming to town, we Americans don't have only memories to sustain us this year. We need jobs, low taxes. We need monetary freedom from central banking. We need the respect that our natural rights deserve. And we need to spread the word and help people understand the difference between right and wrong. That message is powerful at Christmas. It's barely understood in political circles, and I certainly think that the Biden administration members don't get it at all. Thanks for watching, everyone. Merry Christmas early. And to all those people working at Hasbro, I'm terribly sorry. Just the thought of kids with toys just brings cheer, and I hope things can come back for you. Hey, if you have the opportunity, come on back to MRCTV.org many times a day, MRCTV.org. Of course, we have our shop there, and you can buy the MRC items there to help the Media Research Center. You can also donate during this time when people are handing out gifts to friends and loved ones. Well, please consider your spiritual friends here at the Media Research Center. By the way, if you are also if you're interested in spreading the cheer about our videos, remember that Rumble is the place where they don't censor us. So we're trying to get people to visit us at Rumble and subscribe over there, to follow over there, I think is the term. And of course, we're still on YouTube, but yes, they are dangerous. They do censor us often. And I hope you'll find us on Twitter/X, which seems to be opening up a lot more. And of course, you'll find us on Instagram and TikTok and Parler and within Facebook as well, which is always jumping. If you want to get in touch with me, I'm on Gab as @GardnerGoldsmith, and I'm on Twitter as @GardGoldsmith. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.